The horses were running, a thundering blur of hooves tearing across my pasture, manes whipping like flames in the wind, nostrils flared, eyes wide with something primal, freedom, maybe, or fury. Behind them, screams cut through the heat like shards of glass, followed by the unmistakable crack of a collapsible picnic table shattering. Someone yelled, "Grab the cooler," as a child dropped a slice of watermelon and bolted for the gate. All I could do was lean on the fence post, arms crossed, watching my land reclaim itself. You're probably wondering what kind of psychopath releases livestock into a backyard birthday party. Fair, but before you judge, let me rewind and tell you exactly how two middle-aged twins, Linda and Brenda, declared war on my life. It started 3 months ago, quiet as a coffin church. I just moved into my dream place, a modest farmhouse, on the edge of a sleepy Midwestern town far from traffic, HOA newsletters, and the noise of civilization. No neighbors in sight, just trees, wind, and the low grunts of my horses shifting through the grass like shadows. Then came the shriek. It pierced the air like a banshee with a megaphone. I was fixing a fence post when I heard it, followed by loud cackling and someone saying, "Oops, did I step in poop again?" I followed the sound to the property line and saw them. Linda and Brenda. Identical twins in their mid-40s, both in oversized sunglasses and pink leopard print leggings. Linda was the loud one, built like a linebacker, hair dyed an impossible orange, voice that could shatter glass. Brenda was quieter, always carrying herbal tea and whispering in a breathy tone, like every sentence was a sermon. They waved me over. "Hi, neighbor," Linda bellowed, stomping toward me in knockoff UGGs. "We were just saying how cute your little ranch is." I nodded politely. "It's not a ranch, it's a private horse farm." Brenda clasped her hands. "How precious. You must have such a spiritual connection to the land." We were talking about needing a grounding space for morning affirmations. I didn't even like morning people, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Their uncle had left them the property. They came from the suburbs and apparently believed moving to the country would awaken their feminine warrior energy, whatever that meant. For a few weeks they mostly kept to themselves, occasional chanting, the smell of burning sage drifting over the hedgerow. Nothing serious. Then came the test picnic, the first invasion. It was a sunny Saturday. I'd spent the morning stacking hay and had just sat down with a glass of sweet tea when I saw movement in my north pasture. Folding chairs. A woman in a floppy hat. Balloons. By the time I marched down the hill, 10 people had set up camp as if it were a public park. Coolers, frisbees, toddlers. My horses, usually skittish around strangers, huddled in the far corner, confused and nervous. "Excuse me," I called out, trying to keep calm. Brenda emerged from behind a snack table. "Oh, hi, we didn't think you'd mind." Linda was lighting a citronella candle. "It's just a little get-together. The energy of your land is so positive. You're on my property." Linda laughed like I'd made a joke. "Oh, relax, cowboy, it's just grass." I should have lost it right then. Called the cops. But I didn't. I calmly explained it was private. My horses could get spooked. It wasn't safe. Brenda pouted, nodded. Linda rolled her eyes but agreed to wrap it up. I thought it was over. I was wrong. The next weekend, I woke up to loud music. 8 by 10. My pasture looked like a frat party fused with a food truck festival. Twice as many people, tents, a karaoke machine, a man in a banana costume bouncing on a mini trampoline. They'd even made a sign, "Welcome to Brenda's birthday bash. Peace, love, and ponies." I drove my truck down, speechless. I had to park behind a line of cars blocking my gate. Brenda greeted me in a purple robe with dangling crystals. Linda flipped burgers like it was her backyard. "Oh hey, you made it," Linda called. I told Brenda you'd lighten up. Brenda handed me a plate. "Try the quinoa salad. It's judgment-free." "I didn't make it," I said. "This is my land." "Oh, don't be dramatic," Brenda waved a sage stick. Nature belongs to everyone. A kid chased my horse Biscuit with a balloon sword. Biscuit reared back, eyes wide. My stomach twisted. I demanded they leave. Linda refused. You're hostile. You need to talk to someone. They had crossed the line. I stormed back to the house, called the sheriff. The dispatcher asked, "Are they violent?" "No, it's just a birthday party, ma'am." The deputy showed up 2 hours later. Most guests were drunk or gone. Linda offered them bratwursts. Brenda teared up, claiming I had anger issues. The deputy shrugged. Try to get along. The next day, I put up a fence. Bright red signs. Private property, do not enter. Trail cameras. Locked gates. Extra feed for the horses. They didn't care. Linda posted in the town Facebook group, advertising outdoor yoga circles. Brenda handed out flyers, some with pictures of my horse. I woke up to giggles, cameras flashing. Found lipstick-stained glasses on my tractor. Then the final straw. I came home to a bouncy castle beside the stable. A kid inside Biscuit's stall feeding him marshmallows. I grabbed a rake and yelled until Brenda showed up. Sipping cucumber water in a lawn chair. Linda sauntered over, phone recording. "Just so you know, I'm recording this in case you assault us." "You've got bad vibes," she sneered. I was done. That night, I sat on my porch, the air thick with the scent of grass and storm clouds, rage simmering under my skin like a pot about to boil. The sheriff wouldn't help. The signs hadn't worked. Reason had failed. But I had something they didn't: horses. Power, momentum, and now a plan. They'd turned my land into their personal picnic venue. Next time, they would never forget it. For the next several days, I lived in that peculiar silence, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that presses on your chest. I avoided the north pasture. Just seeing the flattened grass where the bouncy castle had stood made my stomach knot. The trail camera footage showed half a dozen people ignoring my no trespassing signs like they were suggestions. Brenda danced with a crystal bowl in one hand and a wine glass in the other. Linda walked right up to my camera, leaned in, and flipped it off. Her smirk burned into my brain like a brand. They weren't just clueless. They were malicious. So I did what any rational person would do. I tried again to handle it the proper way. First, I called animal control. I explained that untrained kids were feeding my horses marshmallows and stressing them out. The officer was sympathetic but said unless the animals were injured, their hands were tied. Next, I went to the sheriff's office in person. I showed them the footage. They promised to file a report. What does that mean? I asked. The deputy stared at me, blank. It means we filed a report. I tried the county zoning board. Maybe there was a clause about unpermitted gatherings. We'll look into it, they said, which was code for "we're going to ignore you." Meanwhile, the Karens accelerated. Brenda posted about a weekly sound bath circle behind my barn. She listed a suggested donation and included a note. "Don't worry, the farmer is chill." I wasn't chill. I was vibrating with fury. Linda installed a makeshift gate between our properties, built out of old pallets and Christmas lights, as if that made it festive instead of insane. That Saturday, they held a full cookout with a cotton candy machine and a DJ. I stood at my window as LFAO rattled the panes. The horses refused to eat, pacing like they felt the invasion in their bones. Midway through, some guy in cargo shorts climbed my pasture fence to take selfies with Rufus. Rufus, who hated strangers. He was cornered, ears back, ready to explode. I sprinted outside. "Get down," I screamed. The man laughed. Brenda appeared, all fake sweetness. "Don't be upset. He's just saying hello. He's one twitch away from turning your friend into fertilizer." Linda ambled up with her drink. "Why are you so angry all the time? You act like you own the sky." "I do own this land," I said through clenched teeth. She took a bite of her chicken drumstick. "Well, you're really bad at sharing it." That Night something in me broke, not explosively, but cold, quiet. An understanding settled deep in my bones. I would never win through reason. Linda and Brenda weren't trying to be neighborly. They were trying to control, to wear me down, to prove no one would stop them. And they were almost right. Almost. At 4:12 a.m., I got up. I made coffee. I opened my laptop. Their next event had already been announced. Full Moon Soul Picnic and Alignment. Circle. Date: 2 weeks from now. Location: Back Meadow. Deeply spiritual soil. My soil. Suggested donation: $35. Suggested attire: boho vibes only. I scrolled through the RSVP list. 72 people. Fine. Let's make it a day they'd never forget. First step was planning. I knew enough about horses to know I couldn't simply set them loose. That would be dangerous for them. So I mapped out the field, marked where guests always gathered, measured the distance to the gates. I trained the herd with small releases opening the gates, letting them walk in short bursts, calling them back with oats and a whistle. Rufus was the key. Where he went, the others followed. While I trained the horses, I created a decoy. A fake Facebook profile. River Skywood profile picture. A woman in flowing linen. Bio: empath. Breathwork coach. Manifestor. I sent Brenda a friend request. She accepted. In 5 minutes, I praised every post. I flattered her ego. When she announced the event, River commented, "This looks divine. I'm bringing my entire Sacred Sisters group, about 40 women." "Is there space?" Brenda replied. "Absolutely. The more, the merrier." Perfect. On the morning of the event, the sky was purple with gathering storm clouds. I watched cars fill my pasture like it was a pop-up festival. Brenda wore a yellow dress and a flower crown. Linda strutted around in leggings and a tank top that read, "Queen Bee Vibes, tables, cushions, incense, a ukulele." This was it. I walked to the barn, grabbed my bucket of oats, gave Rufus a nod. Just as I reached for the latch, a voice called, "Hey, you the owner?" I turned. A man with a badge and clipboard stood at the end of my drive. "Animal control," he said. "We got a call about a noise complaint and livestock safety." I looked past him. People laughed. A balloon popped. A woman belted out off-key Shakira. "You might want to stick around," I said, hand on the latch. And with that, I opened the gate. Rufus stepped forward like a general. The others followed, hooves drumming the earth. A child pointed, "Horsies." Linda turned, her face twisting into disgust. "What the hell?" Her voice vanished beneath the low, rolling thunder of hooves gathering speed. From the fence line, the animal control officer watched, radio half raised. "They're trained," I said calmly. "No one will get hurt unless someone tries to ride them." Rufus snorted, loud and sharp. Then the herd surged, not charging at anyone, just moving through. Chairs flipped over. A cooler exploded. Cans of kombucha shooting into the air. Screams everywhere. Brenda, mid-sound bath, opened her eyes just as Biscuit galloped past. She dove under a table, clutching her crystal bowl. Linda tried to run, but her sandals stuck in the mud. She pitched forward, her plate of ribs flying, landing face first in manure. Phones came out. Everyone recording. Linda screeched, "She did this! That lunatic!" The officer stepped forward. "Actually, ma'am, these horses were released on private land. Your guests are trespassing." "Silence," Brenda gasped. "We had permission." "You did not," I said. Linda sputtered, but no words came. And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, Rufus trotted over and took the most perfectly